It is my son's robe. A wild animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces. I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?
Bible Tunes Studio presents Dreams Through Darkness, the story of Joseph. History is not a straight line. It is a circle of iron and gold. We often look at the finished tapestry of a hero's life and marvel at the brilliance of the thread, but we forget the tension of the loom. We forget that for every moment of triumph, there were 1,000 moments of suffocating silence. This is the chronicle of Joseph, a man who was buried alive by his own blood, forgotten by the world, but held in the hand of the unseen architect. This is the story of the long rescue. It is a testament to the fact that God's silence is never his absence. It is a journey that begins not in a palace of stone, but in the volatile, jealous hearts of a family chosen by God, yet broken by man. We begin in the rugged, sun-drenched hills of Hebron. This was a land of ancient promises and modern rivalries. Jacob, the patriarch, was a man who lived in the shadow of his own history. He had cheated his brother, wrestled an angel, and buried his beloved wife, Rachel, on the road to Bethlehem. His heart was a landscape of grief and grace. And in that heart, one name burned brighter than all others: Joseph. To Jacob, Joseph was not just a son. He was the living memory of a lost love. He was the miracle of his old age. And in his blind devotion, Jacob committed the greatest error a father can make. He made his favoritism visible.
Joseph, come here. My son, your brothers are men of the field. They are rugged, they are rough, and they belong to the dust. But you carry the spirit of your mother. You have eyes that see beyond the horizon. I have had the weavers prepare something for you. Not a common tunic, but a robe of kings. Wear this, Kethoneth Pasim. Let the world know that you are the heir to the promise of Abraham.
The coat was a masterpiece of ancient craftsmanship. Long sleeves reaching the wrists, fabric trailing to the ankles, dyed in colors that were rare and expensive. In a world of brown dirt and gray sheep, Joseph was a splash of impossible light. But to his 10 older brothers, that coat was a daily insult. It was a physical manifestation of their father's rejection. It was an insult to their hard labor.
Look at him. He walks through the camp as if the very ground should feel honored.
To be stepped on by his sandals. Does father think we are blind? We were born first. We did the work. We built this wealth.
Levi.
And yet, he sits at the table of honor. He does not shear the sheep. He does not carry the water.
He only watches. He is a shepherd of shadows, while we are the slaves of the sun.
Judah.
It is not just the coat, Simeon. It is the way he talks. Have you heard him? He came to me this morning with a look of terrifying peace on his face. He told me he had a dream. He told me that we, the men who protect him, were bowing to him like common servants.
Simeon.
He is a dreamer, and dreamers are dangerous. They live in a world that hasn't happened yet, and they expect us to pay for the construction of it.
The tension in the house of Jacob was a dry forest waiting for a spark. Joseph, perhaps naive, or perhaps overwhelmed by the weight of the visions he was receiving, fanned the flames. He spoke of sheaves of wheat in the field, and then he spoke of the cosmos itself, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bending their light toward him. Even Jacob, who loved him, grew fearful. Jacob.
Joseph, what is this dream you have had? Shall I and your mother and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?
Keep these things to yourself, my son. The air is already thick with the jealousy of your brothers.
The spark finally fell in a place called Dothan. Jacob, concerned for his flocks, sent Joseph to check on his brothers. It was a journey of miles, a lone boy in a royal robe walking through the wilderness. From a distance, the brothers saw him coming. The colors of his coat gave him away before his face could even be seen. Simeon.
Look, here comes that dreamer. Now is our chance. Let us kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns. We can tell Father that a wild animal devoured him. Then we shall see what becomes of his dreams.
Reuben.
No! Do not shed his blood! We are brothers! Let us not have his life on our hands! Just throw him into the pit here in the wilderness, but do not lay a hand on him!
Reuben intended to come back and save him, but the momentum of hatred was too strong. As Joseph approached, he didn't find the greeting of brothers. He found the hands of executioners. They seized him. They didn't just strike him. They tore the coat from his body with a primal, jagged fury. They stripped him of his identity, his status, and his father's protection.
Reuben. Judah, stop! What are you doing? I'm your brother. I've done nothing but bring you word from Father. Please. The pit is dark. It's deep. Please don't leave me here.
They threw him into a dry cistern. The sound of his body hitting the dirt was hollow and final. And then, the Bible records one of the most chilling sentences in human history. Then they sat down to eat bread. While Joseph's muffled cries echoed from the bowels of the earth, the brothers broke bread. They ate the very food he had brought them, indifferent to the suffering of the boy in the hole. But the architect was moving. A cloud of dust appeared on the horizon, a caravan of Ishmaelite traders on their way to Egypt, their camels laden with spices, balm, and myrrh. Judah, the pragmatic one, looked at the caravan and then at the pit.
What profit is there if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let us sell him to these Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood.
For 20 pieces of silver, the price of a common, slightly damaged slave, Joseph was hauled up from the darkness. He looked into the eyes of his brothers, searching for a shred of mercy, but he found only cold calculation. He was bound in iron and rope. As the caravan began to move toward the south, Joseph watched the only world he had ever known disappear. He was 17 years old. He was a slave. He was a ghost. To cover their tracks, the brothers took the coat, the beautiful, hated coat, and dipped it in the blood of a slaughtered goat. They brought it to Jacob, presenting it with a lie that would haunt their father for 2 decades. Jacob.
It is my son's robe. A wild animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces. I will go down to the grave mourning for my son.
While Jacob mourned in Canaan, Joseph was entering a world he could not have imagined in his wildest dreams. Egypt, the Manhattan of the ancient world. A land of massive limestone monoliths, bustling markets, and a language that sounded like the chirping of birds and the rushing of the Nile. He stood on a slave block in the shadow of the Great Pyramids. He was a product to be sold. Potiphar.
He is small, but he has the eyes of a scholar, and there is a strange peace about him. What is the price for the Hebrew boy?
Trader.
25 pieces of silver, Captain. He is strong, and he is clean.
I will take him. He shall serve in my house.
Potiphar was no ordinary Egyptian. He was the captain of the guard, a man who stood in the inner circle of Pharaoh. Joseph was now in the center of the world's greatest empire. But he was a servant. He was an outsider. He was abomination to the Egyptians, who loathed the nomadic shepherds of the north. Joseph.
I am in a land of idols. I am in a land of strangers. My father thinks I am dead. My brothers wish I were. But the stars I saw in my dream, they were not in Canaan. They were the same stars that shine over this river. If God is the architect, then this house is just another room.
For 10 years, Joseph labored. He didn't complain about the injustice of his brothers or the heat of the Egyptian sun. He mastered the language. He mastered the mathematics of the estate. He mastered the art of service, and slowly, the household of Potiphar began to change. Potiphar.
Joseph, come here. I've watched you for a decade. I've had many servants, but everything you touch turns to gold. My fields yield more when you oversee them. My accounts were perfect when you managed them. Even my own heart is at rest when you are in the room. Why?
Joseph.
It is not my skill, my lord. I serve the God who made the heavens and the earth. He is with me in your house, and he blesses you for my sake.
I do not know your God, but I know his work. From this day forward,
You are the overseer of my entire house. Everything I own is in your hands. Except for the food I eat, I will concern myself with nothing. You are the master of this estate.
Joseph was now at the height of his power. He was handsome, well-built, and influential. He had risen from the pit to the pinnacle of Egyptian society. But the architect was not finished with his training. Prosperity is often more dangerous than poverty. Potiphar's wife was a woman of the court, accustomed to getting whatever she desired, and she desired Joseph. Day after day, she watched him. Day after day, she whispered to him. Potiphar's wife.
Joseph, look at me. You are a man far from home. Your God is in the hills of Canaan, and your master is at the palace of Pharaoh. Why do you live like an ascetic? You have power over this house, but you do not have me. Come to me. No one will know.
Joseph.
My master has withheld nothing from me but you. You are his wife. How then could I do this great wickedness and sin against my God?
Joseph didn't just refuse her, he avoided her. He understood that integrity is not just saying no, it is removing oneself from the yes. But one afternoon, the house was empty. She caught him by his cloak.
There is no one here, Joseph. Stop being a slave to your conscience. Come to me.
Joseph fled. He ran from the room, leaving his garment in her hand. For the second time in his life, a coat, a symbol of his status, was used as a weapon against him. For the second time, he was framed by a piece of cloth.
Help! The Hebrew slave came in to mock me. Look, he left his garment here when I screamed.
When Potiphar returned, his fury was cold and absolute. He didn't execute Joseph, perhaps because, deep down, he knew the character of the man, but he threw him into the king's prison. This was the lowest point. This was the all-hope-lost moment. Joseph had been righteous, and he was being punished for it. He was back in a hole. Joseph was now an inmate in the king's prison, a limestone fortress where the air was thick with the scent of damp stone and forgotten men. For a man who had been the overseer of a great estate, the transition to a cell was a psychological death. Every day he woke up to the same gray walls, the same iron bars, and the same unanswered question: why? Why does a man choose integrity only to be rewarded with chains? Why does God give a boy dreams of stars only to bury him under the earth? This is the crucible of the soul. This is where most men break. They let bitterness turn to rot, and they let their faith evaporate into the Egyptian heat. But Joseph was different. He understood that while he was a prisoner of Pharaoh, he was a servant of the Most High. Even in the dark, he began to work.
My hands are bound, but my mind is free. If I am to be in this hole, I will be the best man in this hole. If God has placed me here, there must be a reason. I will not look for the exit. I will look for the work.
Slowly, the warden of the prison began to notice. Just as it had been in the house of Potiphar, a strange aura of success followed Joseph. He was given charge over the other prisoners. He became the warden's right hand, and it was here, in the bowels of the prison, that the long rescue began to accelerate. Two high-ranking officials were thrown into the dungeon, the king's chief cupbearer and the chief baker. One morning, Joseph found them trembling, their faces pale with terror.
Why are your faces so sad today? You are in prison, yes, but your eyes look as though you've seen a ghost.
Cupbearer.
We have both had dreams, Hebrew. But there is no one here to tell us what they mean. In the palace we had seers. Here we have only shadows. Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams. I saw a vine with 3 branches. As soon as it budded, it blossomed, and its clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, squeezed them into the cup, and placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand. This is what it means. The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your position. You will put Pharaoh's cup in his hand, just as you used to do.
Joseph's voice dropped to a whisper, thick with the desperation of a man who had been forgotten for years.
But when it goes well with you, remember me. Show me kindness. Mention me to Pharaoh and get me out of this prison. I was forcibly carried off from the land of the Hebrews, and even here I have done nothing to deserve being put in a dungeon.
The baker, encouraged by the good news, shared his dream of 3 baskets of bread being eaten by birds. Joseph's face darkened. He told the truth, even when it was heavy. In 3 days, the baker would be executed. Everything happened exactly as Joseph predicted. The baker was hanged. The cupbearer was restored. Joseph stood by the prison gate, his heart racing every time he heard the turn of a key. Today is the day, he thought. The cupbearer has told the king, the guards are coming for me. But the Bible records a devastating turn. The chief cupbearer did not remember Joseph. He forgot him. 2 years, 24 months, 104 weeks, 730 days of silence. This is the hardest part of Joseph's story because it feels like our story. Helping someone and being forgotten. Waiting for an opportunity that never comes. Praying and hearing nothing back. Joseph was now 30 years old, 13 years in Egypt as a slave and a prisoner. His youth had slipped away. His dreams must have felt distant. But the architect was not asleep. He was waiting for the king to dream. Then, in a single night, everything changed. Pharaoh woke in terror. 7 fat cows devoured by 7 thin, starving ones. Healthy grain swallowed by scorched stalks. A message was hidden in the dream, but no one could read it. The greatest minds of Egypt stood silent.
My lord, I remember my failing today. In prison, there was a Hebrew. He interpreted my dream, and it came true.
Joseph was rushed from the dungeon, chains removed, dirt washed away, his beard shaved. He was dressed in Egyptian linen. In a moment, he walked from darkness into the throne room. Pharaoh.
I have had a dream no one understands. I hear you can interpret it.
I cannot. But God will give Pharaoh an answer of peace.
Joseph listened carefully. Then he spoke with clarity and authority. 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of devastating famine.
Let Pharaoh appoint a wise man. Store grain during the good years. Prepare now, or the land will perish.
The room fell silent again, but this time it was awe.
Where can we find a man like this? Since God has revealed this to you, you shall be in charge. Only I will be greater than you.
In the time it takes to breathe, the prisoner became the prince. The famine came sharp and merciless. It reached even to Canaan. Joseph's brothers came to Egypt for food. They bowed before him, not knowing who he was.
The ones who betrayed me now stand before me.
He tested them, accused them, held them for days, not out of cruelty but to see if their hearts had changed. The final test came through Benjamin. Would they abandon him like they once abandoned Joseph? Judah.
My lord, take me instead. If the boy does not return, our father will die. I will stay as your slave. Let him go.
Everything changed in that moment. Joseph could not hold back the tears.
I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?
Fear filled the room. They expected judgment.
Do not be afraid. You meant harm, but God meant it for good, to save many lives.
After years of separation, the moment finally came. Joseph stood before his father, not as the lost boy, but as the man he had become. Jacob looked at him as if time itself had paused. The son he had mourned, the son he thought was gone forever, was now standing right in front of him. They moved closer slowly, almost afraid that the moment might disappear. And then they embraced. Years of pain, of loss, of unanswered questions, all poured out in that single moment. Joseph held his father tightly, as if making up for every year they had been apart. Jacob's voice trembled, his heart overwhelmed not with sorrow anymore, but with relief. What he had lost had been given back to him, and they did not let go. Because this was more than a reunion, it was restoration. A father and a son, separated by years, now together again. The story ends with restoration. A father reunited with his son, a broken family, healed by mercy. But the message goes deeper. The pit led to the prison. The prison led to the palace. And the palace saved nations. If you are in your 2-year silence, remember this: your story is not over. The architect is still working. Trust the timing, trust the silence, because the God of the pit is the same God on the throne. If this story of faith, endurance, and divine timing touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video to support more powerful Bible stories. Comment below, I trust the timing if you believe God is working even in silence. Subscribe to BibleTune Studio for more cinematic stories that bring Scripture to life.